Hello again. This is Professor Erica Bailey, and the purpose for this presentation is to discuss your first assignment, which is your case analysis assignment. As many of you already know, Aaron Hernandez was a popular professional athlete playing with the New England Patriots. In 2013, he was arrested in the murder of Odin Lloyd. In 2015, he was convicted of that crime. As you begin your research into the trial, there are two links that have been attached to the content page for this assignment. You are certainly welcome to use any other secondary research that you find, but you, of course, must cite to that additional research. And of course, the citation must be according to APA requirements. As I mentioned in my prior video, just giving you an introduction to the course, for all of your assignments, you will find a fairly detailed list of requirements. In this assignment in particular, there are several elements to the assignment that you must satisfy in order to make sure that you maximize the available points. In terms of the structure and organization of your assignment, the first part must include an introduction. There are three specific things that you need to include in that introduction section that are listed here on this slide. And again, all of this information is also available on the content for this assignment. So after you have covered the introduction requirements, the next section asks you to evaluate and to analyze the opening statements by the attorneys. The first question that you'll want to answer is which attorney was most persuasive? And the second question is which attorney gave the jury more significant facts to consider? On the announcement page, I've posted a video as well as two sources which you can use as resource information to evaluate the opening statements. The sources are intended to give you an introduction to trial advocacy, which basically will tell you these are what the attorneys have been trained to do and whether or not they've actually met these requirements. The prosecution has the burden of proof at trial. Establishing a prima facie case means that the prosecution has presented sufficient evidence to meet its burden to establish each element of the crimes charged. The closing arguments at trial is the opportunity for the lawyers to argue their version of events. In terms of your requirements for this part of the assignment, describe, or in as much detail as possible, determine why one attorney was more persuasive to the jury than the other. So again, on the announcements page, I've posted a video that will help some of you in terms of your analysis for why one attorney or one presentation of the case was more persuasive or insightful than the other. In terms of this part of the assignment, the outside factors, what I'm really looking for here is whether there were any issues or any other factors that weighed upon the jury's ultimate decision outside of the evidence presented. The last required element for the assignment is your concluding thoughts. And what I'm looking for here is what you've learned, what you understand now that perhaps you didn't understand before this assignment, about the criminal justice system, trial advocacy, or the trial process in general. So in terms of the format for the assignment, please see this slide, which details 1.5 line spacing, 12-point font, whether it's Times Roman or Arial is your choice. But you'll note the assignment is a minimum of 3 pages. In terms of the rubrics for the assignment, when I take a look at these submissions, I will make comments and I will also enter a specific point value in the rubrics. The rubrics include the overall content for the paper, your analysis or critical thinking, your responsiveness to the project description. In other words, did you include all of the required elements? In this part, I highly recommend that you use headings in order to organize your thoughts and make sure that you cover all of the required elements. In terms of the second criteria for responsiveness to the project description, in this part, I'm looking for the actual substantive issues that you've addressed, whether or not you've accurately described the prosecution's burden of proof, for example. And like I said a moment ago, organization is key, making sure that you cover and follow each of the required parts. Second to last, APA citation is very important. Please see the video on the announcements page if you have any questions about that, or take a look at their Purdue OWL website, which can give you some pointers and tips. And lastly, please make sure that you carefully edit the assignment before you submit it. So I hope this video presentation is helpful for you as you begin the process of organizing and preparing your first assignment. If you all have any questions, I highly encourage you to either send me an email at erica.bailey@faculty.umgc.edu. Otherwise, you can also post your question on Ask the Professor. In any event, I look forward to reading all of your submissions, and thank you again for all of your time and hard work.